So if you are scrolling through Instagram right now, looking at photos of a curated couple and feeling a jealousy, you might want to pause for a second.
Oh, you definitely want to pause. It's almost never what it looks like.
Right, because those couples flooding your feed with flawless relationship selfies and these endless declarations of love and perfect date night snapshots, they are likely the most insecure couples on your timeline.
The louder the broadcast is on social media, the deeper the doubt happening behind closed doors.
Our mission is to navigate this chaotic intersection of social media and modern relationships.
And it is completely chaotic out there.
It is wild. We are looking at everything from the moment a romance begins online all the way to the public, messy aftermath of a digital breakup. Because whether you are currently single and swiping or casually dating, or even if you've been married for 2 decades, you are swimming in these bizarre digital dating rules.
Oh, totally. You simply cannot escape them.
Right. You've either lived them yourself or you've sat there and watched your friends agonize over them at brunch.
Well, the digital world hasn't just given us, new places to meet people. It has rewired human connection itself. Every tag, every carefully cropped photo, every hidden story, it's all a reflection of our psychological health and our deepest attachments.
I actually want to start right with the vocabulary, because just trying to describe how we date right now requires an entirely new lexicon.
We have modified human behavior into these highly marketable buzzwords.
Let's take zombieing, for example.
Oh, zombieing. That's a rough one.
Right, because most of us know ghosting, when someone you're dating just completely vanishes without a trace. But zombieing is when that person who ghosted you suddenly rises from the dead.
And they always act like nothing happened.
Yes. They text you 3 months later by replying to your Instagram story with a fire emoji, acting like absolutely nothing is wrong. And there's also cuffing season, which is scrambling to find a partner just for the cold winter months.
And then wokefishing, which is everywhere right now.
Oh, explain wokefishing really quick, because that one is fascinating.
So wokefishing is where someone basically pretends to hold highly progressive views or honestly any strong political stance just to mirror what they think you want to hear. And they do it solely to get a date.
Wow. So they are just building a fake persona based on your politics.
Exactly. It's a modernized form of masking. Dating apps kind of incentivize us to build this optimized profile rather than showing our authentic selves.
Yeah.
You're trying to capture market share, essentially.
Okay, let's unpack this concept of market share, because that corporate framework leads us directly to one of the biggest trends in modern dating vocabulary, which is the concept of the launch.
Yes, the soft launch and the hard launch.
Right, which literally originate from corporate marketing. I mean, a soft launch in business is a limited beta test, putting a product out to a small market to gauge reaction without committing massive resources.
Right, checking to see if people even like it first.
Exactly. And a hard launch is the billboard, the press release, the massive global rollout. And somehow, we've taken this incredibly sterile business strategy and mapped it directly onto human intimacy.
We have. And honestly, the psychological drivers behind how someone chooses to launch a partner are incredibly revealing, especially when we start looking at it through the lens of attachment theory.
Okay, so let's look at the soft launch first. In practice on social media, this is the carefully cropped photo of, a mysterious hand on a steering wheel.
Or the 2 plates of food across from each other at a dimly lit restaurant, but you can't see the person's face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, for the listener who hasn't recently read up on attachment theory, let's ground this a bit. When you mention psychological drivers, what exactly does that look like in the context of a soft launch?
So attachment theory essentially describes how we perceive and respond to intimacy. And this is usually based on our very early life experiences. When someone relies on the soft launch, we often see an avoidant or fearful attachment style.
Interesting. So they are naturally hesitant.
Very much so. An avoidant person fears enmeshment. I mean, they want connection, but they are terrified of losing their independence. And a fearful, avoidant person desperately craves intimacy, but just constantly expects to be rejected.
So the soft launch is basically a defense mechanism for them.
It's a shield. By keeping the partner's identity hidden, they're keeping their options open and maintaining a sense of control. But more importantly, they are protecting themselves from public failure.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Right. If the relationship falls apart 3 weeks later, they don't have to explain anything to their social circle because nobody ever saw the person's face anyway. But then on the other end of the spectrum, we have the hard launch. Tagged faces, highly visible couples photos, making it official in the bio.
Now, Wouldn't a hard launch point toward a secure attachment style?
It can, yeah.
Because it seems like somebody who feels confident enough in themselves and the relationship to integrate this person into their public social identity without fearing the scrutiny.
And that's often true. A secure individual doesn't view public acknowledgement as a threat. However, a hard launch can also be driven by the exact opposite.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it can be driven by a highly anxious attachment style.
Oh, so the person who's terrified of abandonment, so they just cling tightly.
Yes. For someone with an anxious attachment style, the hard launch isn't necessarily about celebrating security. It is about seeking public validation to soothe their own internal panic.
I see.
They need the external audience to validate the relationship. They are looking for the likes and the comments to prove to themselves that they are lovable and that the relationship is actually solid.
But wait, isn't a hard launch sometimes just a way to mark your territory online? Like a taken sign on the front lawn?
Absolutely. It's a warning to competitors just as much as it's a way to calm their own anxiety.
Wow. Okay, and if we follow that thread, this deep need for external validation, that brings us right back to the phenomenon we opened the show with.
The constant broadcasting.
Right. Let's say a couple has successfully hard launched, but the posting just never stops. It's a barrage of what the sources are calling Relfies.
Relfies, relationship selfies.
Right. It's every coffee date, every minor one-month anniversary, every random bouquet of flowers.
Which brings up a really crucial question. What function does that constant posting actually serve for the couple?
On the days when participants reported feeling the most insecure about their partner's feelings, the days they felt disconnected or anxious or jealous, they posted the most relationship information online.
It just flips our assumption of social media on its head. Because we naturally assume people post because they're just overflowing with joy.
Right, you assume they're just so happy they can't contain it.
But people who frequently post these highly curated Relfies, especially with possessive captions like "my man" or "my girl," are often masking low self-esteem and relationship instability.
So they are basically outsourcing their relationship security to their followers.
That's the exact mechanism at play. When the internal foundation of the relationship is shaky, the brain looks for alternative ways to find stability.
A quick fix.
Right. The likes, the comments, the people replying couple goals, all of that triggers a dopamine hit. It's a temporary chemical substitute for genuine intimacy.
Wow, so they are trying to refute their own doubts by convincing an audience how great things are.
Exactly. But while you are obsessing over finding the perfect filter and crafting the exact right hashtag to prove your love to strangers online,
You're missing the moment.
you are fundamentally abandoning the actual physical moment with your partner.
You're sacrificing the actual relationship to save the avatar of the relationship. If oversharing and constant posting are often symptoms of insecurity and disconnection, wouldn't the healthiest approach be total radio silence? I mean, should we all just be hiding our relationships from the internet entirely?
It's logical, but keeping your relationship entirely in the dark introduces a totally different set of psychological dangers.
Really? Like what?
Well, it's the difference between privacy and secrecy.
Because they do sound like the same thing, but in practice, they are worlds apart.
Privacy is essentially about maintaining your autonomy.
Okay.
It is the preservation of the I within the we of a relationship.
So privacy is having separate passcodes on your phones. It's taking a shower alone.
Yes. It says, I respect you, and I respect myself enough to maintain some personal space.
That sounds incredibly healthy.
It is. It actually fosters deep trust because it honors the fact that you are two separate individuals who are actively choosing to be together. Secrecy, on the other hand, isn't about boundaries at all. It's about barriers.
And manipulation, right?
Exactly. Secrecy is the intentional withholding of information specifically to manipulate reality and avoid consequences.
I would even take that a step further. I think privacy protects the individual, but secrecy protects a lie.
Oh, absolutely.
Like hiding massive credit card debt or deleting text from an ex right before your partner walks into the room. In that case, you aren't preserving your autonomy. You're actively denying your partner the agency to make informed choices about the relationship.
That is the absolute core of it. Secrecy erodes the entire foundation of a partnership because it completely relies on deception.
But here's the gray area I'm struggling with, a term called stashing.
Yes, stashing is incredibly common right now.
Right, which is when someone purposefully hides their partner from their social media and their public life entirely. No tags, no mentions, no introductions to mutual friends. Let's say I'm dating someone who claims they just value privacy, and therefore they refuse to post me.
A classic defense.
Right. So part of me wants to respect that boundary, but another part of me wonders if I'm just being stashed so they can still appear single to everyone else.
Yeah.
Where is the actual line between healthy privacy and toxic secrecy in that specific scenario?
That specific point is where so much modern relationship anxiety lives today. The key test is intent and impact.
Intent and impact. Okay, break that down.
You have to ask two things. First, does keeping this piece of information off the internet violate the relationship agreement? And second, does it impact the partner's emotional safety?
Okay, if we've agreed to be exclusive and we've met each other's families, but you purposefully untag yourself from photos I post because you want your coworkers, or worse, your ex, to think you're still on the market.
Then that is a massive violation of the agreement.
Exactly.
Precisely. If they were withholding you from their digital life, because the impact of revealing you would be consequential to their alternate persona, that is secrecy. Make no mistake, you are being stashed.
Okay, that makes it so much clearer.
But on the flip side, if your partner genuinely doesn't use social media as a diary and maybe hasn't posted a photo of anything in 2 years, but they happily hold your hand in public and bring you to family dinners,
Then that is just privacy.
exactly. Their digital silence isn't a manipulation at all. It's just their normal behavior.
So, privacy is closing the bathroom door because you need a moment of peace. Secrecy is closing the bathroom door so you can text your ex without getting caught.
Honestly, that might be the most concise way to summarize the entire concept.
Well, okay, so we've navigated the anxiety of the launch, we've seen through the hidden insecurity of those endless Relfies, and we've defined the critical boundary between privacy and secrecy.
We've covered a lot.
We really have. But whether you kept the relationship incredibly private or you blasted your love all over your timeline, sometimes relationships end.
They do.
And breaking up in the digital age is just a completely different, uniquely brutal beast.
It is a totally different psychological landscape than what previous generations experienced. I mean, historically, when a relationship ended, you relied on physical distance to heal.
Right, you packed up your boxes and moved out.
Exactly. You moved your things out, you avoided their favorite coffee shop, and out of sight eventually led to out of mind.
But today, out of sight is literally impossible. Your ex is living inside the glowing rectangle in your pocket 24/7. The algorithm is actively serving them up to you on a silver platter. And what used to be a very private heartache is now a public spectacle with an audience of hundreds.
And that audience, combined with the constant digital access, complicates the mourning process.
Well, so-
Psychologists have long used 5 stages of grief to understand breakups.
That's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, right?
Exactly. But the digital footprint essentially short-circuits this natural progression. There's a case study. It's about a client named Karen.
Oh, wait, this was the client who was quite literally sleeping with her smartphone, right?
Yes. It's a really heartbreaking story. Karen had just gone through a devastating breakup after a 5-year relationship.
5 years is a long time.
It is. And under normal pre-internet circumstances, she would have entered the denial and bargaining phases, felt the deep pain of absence, and then slowly moved toward acceptance. But instead, Karen was trapped in a digital purgatory.
Digital purgatory?
She reported checking her ex's social media feeds 10 to 20 times a day.
Oh, wow.
She slept with her phone physically tucked under her pillow. And she would wake up in a panic, terrified she might miss a late-night text from him.
That sounds absolutely agonizing. It's like having a deep wound, and every single hour you pick the scab off before it can even begin to heal.
That's exactly what it is. It halts the healing process entirely. The constant digital exposure keeps the brain locked in a repetitive loop of denial and bargaining.
Because you can still see them living their life.
Right. How can you possibly process the finality of a relationship when their digital ghost is constantly active in your space? You see their green online status, you see them tagged in photos at a party you weren't invited to.
It tricks the brain.
Yes, the brain simply cannot compute the absence of the person. Karen was entirely unable to reach the acceptance stage because she never actually let the relationship leave her daily environment.
So what does this all mean for us? I mean, how do we fight back against that? If the algorithm is literally designed to keep us engaged, even if it's engaging our pain, how do you actually process a breakup and reach acceptance when everyone is watching?
We have to treat our digital boundaries with the exact same rigor we treat our physical safety.
Okay, what does that look like?
The first thing, and honestly this is often the hardest pill to swallow for most people, is to avoid the dramatic angry, unfollowing, or blocking.
Oh, but the dramatic block feels so incredibly satisfying in the moment. I mean, it's the digital equivalent of slamming a door in someone's face.
It really does feel powerful for about 5 minutes. But psychologically, it almost always backfires. A sudden, aggressive block sends a very loud signal that you are highly reactive. It basically forces mutual friends into this awkward space of noticing the digital warfare.
And then everyone is gossiping about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it often just shifts your own anxiety into a new gear. Because now, instead of checking their page, you're constantly wondering if they noticed you blocked them.
Oh, that is so true. You're still obsessing over them, just in a different way.
Precisely. So instead, the experts recommend the mute function.
Ah, the mute button. It really is the hero of modern mental health.
It truly is. Muting keeps the digital connection technically intact, so you avoid all the dramatic public fallout. But it totally protects your daily feed from the painful content.
You are building an invisible wall.
Right. You take away the algorithm's power to ambush you with their face on a random Tuesday morning while you're just trying to drink your coffee.
That makes a lot of sense. You remove the trigger without causing an explosion. But what about the historical record? Like the urge, especially in that anger phase, is to go onto your grid and nuke every single photo of the two of you from the past 3 years.
Oh, the purge. Yes, use the archive feature instead of the delete button.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Because accepting a breakup doesn't mean pretending the past never happened. Erasing a massive chunk of your own history in a blind rage is a reaction, not a resolution.
That's a great point. It's like you're trying to erase yourself.
Exactly. Archiving accomplishes the immediate goal. It removes the images from your public profile and your daily view, but it preserves your history in a digital vault for a time in the future when you might be healed enough to look back at those years without the sting.
Okay, I love that. And what about navigating the audience? Because let's be honest, half the anxiety of a modern breakup is wondering what the peanut gallery thinks.
The healthiest approach is just clear, calm communication with mutual friends. You don't put them in a position to choose sides.
Right.
You simply communicate your personal boundaries. Saying something like, I'm still processing the transition, so I'm going to step back from the group chat for a couple of weeks.
It's so simple.
It removes all the ambiguity, it stops the gossip dead in its tracks because you've owned the narrative, and it preserves your dignity.
That is light years ahead of what so many people instinctively do, which is the immediate revenge posting.
Oh, the revenge posting.
The sudden influx of living my best life photos, or posting those cryptic, passive-aggressive quotes about toxic people.
And that brings us to the absolute core of recovering from a digital breakup. You must reclaim your individual identity, not perform it.
Wow, yes.
If you are posting a selfie just to prove a point to an ex, you are still letting them control your behavior. You are still in a relationship with them. It's just an antagonistic one now.
Because they are still your primary audience.
Exactly. Authentic healing is quiet. It looks like logging off, reconnecting with the individual hobbies you neglected, and focusing entirely on yourself, rather than the performance of yourself online.
That is such profound advice. We have covered some truly massive ground today. Just looking back at the journey we took, we started with the careful strategy of how we launch a relationship online.
Testing the waters or rolling out the red carpet.
Right. We peeled back the layers on the hidden insecurity driving those perfect couples Relfies. We defined the relationship-saving difference between healthy privacy and toxic secrecy. And finally, we navigated the absolute emotional minefield of breaking up when the whole internet is watching.
It is a complex, sometimes overwhelming landscape to navigate. But I really believe that understanding why we post, why we hide, why we scroll, it gives us so much more agency over our own real-world happiness.
Absolutely. It puts the control back in our hands.
And before we wrap up today, there is one final, lingering thought I want to leave you with, something that builds on everything we've discussed today.
Oh, I love these. Let's hear it.
If we spend so much of our time and energy heavily curating the narrative of our relationships for an online audience, choosing the perfect filter, strategizing the launch, deliberately archiving the breakup,
Yeah.
are we slowly altering our own biological memories of who we loved and how it actually felt?
Oh, wow.
Years from now, will we remember the actual messy, beautiful reality of the relationship, or will our brains only remember the sanitized posts we left behind?
That is a profound and honestly slightly terrifying question to end on. Are we remembering the feeling or are we just remembering the photo of the coffee cups? I guess we all have to figure that out for ourselves. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep questioning the digital world around you, keep looking past the filters, and we will catch you next time.